Do you identify as millennial or Gen Z?
I identify as millennial.
I've done this in the shower. I imagine myself like re-entering the womb.
I'm not a cash bar wedding person, I don't think.
Yeah, don't invite me if you have a cash bar. Have you done a podcast before?
No, I'm losing my podcast virginity.
I will have to clean the couch after.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday and welcome back to the Scaries podcast. I'm your host, Maddie Rossi, and we are back for another week of hearing all of your scary stories and doing our best to help you through them. Today, I'm joined by Matt Kearney, also known on social media as Gay Cousin Matt. He's known for his hilarious comedy bits and sketches revolving around corporate Zoom nightmares, family antics, and sassy commentary on all things adulting. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you here.
Matt.
Did I cover that right? Is there anything else that I...
No, I think you got it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on. I know you and I have known each other in the Boston world of social media for a while now, but do you want to give a little bit of background on how you got into social media?
Yeah. I started working kind of behind the scenes with a different creator, like producing, writing, sort of sketches and editing stuff on the back end. And it was interesting because I'm in law school, so I kind of was balancing doing that with being in school. And I'm sort of wrapping up my law school journey. So
congrats.
Thank you.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. I'm
very Elle Woods.
Yeah. I should have worn my pink today.
Yeah, you should have.
But yeah, so it felt like kind of a natural time for me to be getting into it myself and just kind of ripping the Band-Aid off. And
nice.
I think it was a big jump going from behind the scenes to in front of the camera, but it's been fun so far.
Yeah, you got to get yourself out of your comfort zone. So 100%. How long have you been doing it? Did you been doing it through your law school kind of time?
So I finished. This was my last year of school, and I started posting like around this fall, like September, really.
Nice.
So I'm
that's a pretty quick journey because you've gone pretty
new to
the
game. But happy to be here.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you. So. Cool. Well, before we go into it, I'll give you a little bit of a brief on how things work. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast already, but if you did your homework.
I just started listening to it.
There you go. Hey, at least you're honest. At least you're honest. But hey, we have a few new listeners, I'm sure, too, so I'll explain it for them as well. So basically what we'll do is I have pulled real submissions from people who have told me, why they have the Sunday Scaries, everything from things relating to career to relationships to just drunken stories from nights out. And we'll have 3 different segments. The first will be rapid fire round. So basically I'll just read them off and any initial gut reactions or advice that you have, it's all fair game. Then we'll go into a segment that's called Scary Story Time, which allows us to maybe open up around a little bit more on our own personal scary. Totally. So feel free to reveal as much as you're comfortable with. If not, I have plenty. I have no problem oversharing here, as people have already figured out. And then the last part, we'll do a game. We have a few different games, but the one that I picked for you today is called Legit or Full of Shit. So I get a lot of crazy confessions, and it's your job to guess whether or not the confession that I've pulled is real or full of shit. So we'll put you to the test, and then we'll close with a scary of the week. So keep an eye out for the craziest story or one that resonates with you, because it's your job to pick one that wins scary of the week. So
let's do it.
Cool. So before we fully dive into things, just want to quickly remind everyone of the ground rules. One is that every submission is anonymous and is to stay anonymous. This is an inclusive space. We listen and we do not judge, and no hate comments will be tolerated at all. And neither Matt nor myself are licensed therapists. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be used in lieu of actual medical advice.
Totally.
That's so I don't get sued.
Legal disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer yet.
I told you. Yeah, we have a lawyer on here. I was like, Matt, there's no rules. And I was like, except for 3, there's 3 rules, but like those are just for legal purposes.
Sent over, yeah.
Yeah, so if you sue us for this podcast, I got a lawyer on my side this time. So
after July.
Yeah, once
if you could wait.
Just wait to sue us. Okay, cool. So we'll jump into rapid fire. So the first one we have here is, I went to a gala last night and I didn't know that I dropped $1,000 until my credit card company texted me.
Woof. Was it a charity gala?
Yeah, I assume it was a charity gala.
Then I think it's like all for the greater good. No?
Yeah. It's for charity. Are there any? Is gala always charity? What is a gala? Gala is such a dramatic word.
I feel like any like galas I've gone to or galas, they're all.
Is it gala or gala? What do you say?
I say. Now I'm overthinking it. I say gala. I'm going to a Gala.
Gala. I think I
That was
would
my
call
own
it a
personal
gala.
twist.
It's a gala.
Yeah.
I think it's either like I don't know with a
I have a
Boston accent,
gala.
it's
I would say a
gala.
gala.
But then if I'm trying to be like gala, like it's a gala, it's a charity gala.
Yeah, then you sound pretentious,
Yeah,
maybe.
you do. I mean, the whole word's pretentious. I would call it like a charity event, but
Yeah.
it's a gala. So I mean, yeah, at the end of the day,
Unless you're a
it's
gala organizer, then
yeah.
it's not
In
pretentious.
which case, yeah, it's totally
You're
appropriate
doing
word.
great.
But if it's for charity, it's tax deductible. So
That is such an interesting point.
Yeah.
Let your accountant know.
yeah,
It might be saving you money.
yeah, you
could
in the
girl
long
math
run, yeah, exactly.
losing $1,000.
I actually did something similar. I was at a foundation event here in the city at the end of last year, and I was going around to all the silent auctions, and there were like people weren't bidding on them because there was the actual auction and the silent auction. So I think people forget that there's the silent auction
I
sometimes.
know.
So I went on and I'm like, no one has bid on any of these trips. There was for some reason like 6 different trips to Antigua, which I don't even know where Antigua is.
Did you low bid all of them?
Yeah, I low bid them all, and they were all like,
How many do you have left?
$3,000 value. So I'm like putting in. I was like, okay, like odds are someone will take note of it. They're probably gonna swoop in at the end. So I'm just like putting down 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. At one point in the night, I was in first place to win 3 different trips to Antigua.
No.
And I started to panic because I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with 3 trips to Antigua? Luckily, I got outbid on 2 of them, but I did win one of them.
That's amazing.
So I have a trip to Antigua if you're trying to go.
Do you get a +1?
I do, and it's all inclusive for 7 days.
Sign me up.
Yeah. The only thing is now it's hurricane season there. So
Perfect. Well, I'm taking the bar in July anyway, so we can
okay.
wait until
Yeah, we'll do a
after.
little like a bar honeymoon.
Matt and Matt take Antigua.
Yeah, stay tuned for it.
We're taking the show on the road.
But yeah, I would just say take the tax deduction and it's a win.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is my Gen Z direct report is putting our unlimited PTO policy to the test.
Woof.
I mean, don't have an unlimited PTO policy.
Yeah, I also think it's a question of like if they're doing their work or not. I think, right, that's probably what matters
Yeah.
most. I'm sure if someone's submitting that person's probably cutting corners
Yeah.
like on their assignments too.
I mean, here's my thing. Unlimited PTO policy, like, it can't be unlimited PTO. Like, why would you not then just never show up? Why couldn't you take PTO every single day?
Yeah. Because you want to stay working there, maybe?
I would. I mean, I don't know. Apparently not.
I thought there was some study that showed that when they do unlimited PTO, people
Use
actually
it
take less.
Yeah, I
which
heard
is
that too.
like a mind game.
Yeah,
for, like, the
because
corporate
you don't like
hamster
have
wheel.
the number that you're trying to use. Like, and also I think it's asking permission is awkward. So like when I used to work at a corporate company, like asking for the PTO was always an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
But when you are like, hey, I need to use 3 days, so I'm just gonna take this time off, you're kind of deferring the blame to something else. But when you have unlimited PTO, you don't have that. You don't have that like, oh, I have these days that are going to expire. So yeah, I think it's actually a scam because then
I feel like that Gen Z person is just like reverse Uno'd the company and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll take
give
it.
Venmo request
Yeah.
the company.
They're in Antigua.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think Gen Z though gets a bad rep, like in the workplace. I think on the internet.
I agree. I think it's twofold. I mean, we obviously poke fun at different generations working all the time. I think they advocate for themselves more, which is amazing. And I think they're more protective of what they're owed, like
Yeah.
vacation time. And when they're clocking out, it's like, I'm clocking out.
Yeah. Do you identify as millennial or Gen Z?
I identify as millennial.
How old are you, if you don't
I'm
mind me
boring.
asking? Or what
No, I
year
don't
were you
mind
born
you.
in?
I just turned 28
You're younger
yesterday.
than me. I identify as Gen Z.
Yeah, I think it's more because I'm like, I feel like an old soul. I'm like the youngest in
Yeah.
my family. So I just feel like the shows I grew up watching. And
So were you born in 96 or 97?
97.
You're a Gen Z by definition.
I've read so many things that say that I'm on the line.
Okay, I'm on the line because I was born in 1995, but my birthday is the second to last day of the year. It's like 1996 is Gen Z. My birthday is December 30th,
If you're
1995.
95, you're millennial.
No, I'm not. But I do think I code switch. I definitely think I'm like a zillennial. So it's like
You can't have it both
Yeah,
ways.
because I was in that time period where like I can understand like Gen Z culture, but I can also then like translate it upwards to like millennial bosses
Wow,
and
so
like
you're like a middleman.
yeah, I'm like a middleman. But I guess like technically 1995 is millennial, but I'm the last day of the year. What, that 24 hours? I'm not different from someone born on
Yeah,
January
I don't know.
1st.
I feel like everyone says it's a different year is the
Yeah,
cutoff.
that's why I think it's just what you identify as. So I identify as Gen Z. But yeah, I think Gen Zs, they're smart. They work smart, not hard. Like they will try and
Totally agree.
maximize
I also
output for
think the
input.
nature of work has changed so much with like Teams and Google Workspace and all that stuff where people are on like you're getting work notifications 24
Yeah,
hours a day. It's insane.
yeah,
And so I think that taking steps to sort of protect your personal time is important. I
yeah.
think they're like
And they're
adapting
good
to
at
that
it.
evolution.
Yeah, they have no problem putting their phone on Do Not Disturb and going out and doing
100%.
whatever they need. I had to lay in a fetal position for 3 hours after yakking this morning.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we all have. I've done this in the shower. It's like my favorite one. It's kind of like I imagine myself like re-entering the womb, like
wow.
not like that. That sounds gross, but like
How do you
go
mean?
back to your like natural state.
That is so out of pocket.
But when you're just like you're throwing up, you're like there's
You're doing,
nothing
like,
to you. You're just like get in
visualization
the
work.
fetal, and I'm just like I just like resume back into.
I
Like,
feel like I do that for sure, but in bed. Like
Yeah.
I have to be in like around a couch. I
love-
have a sectional.
Okay.
And I call the corner of it my safety corner.
Okay.
Like when I'm having anxiety, I
Yeah.
just like post up
yeah,
there.
your emotional support
Yeah.
corner.
Like my back's up against the wall. I can see out.
Yeah, I like the shower because it's like just the water. Like there's nothing more defeating yet also like powerful than like a sit down shower or like a fetal position
Totally.
shower. I've had a few of those before.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's if you're down bad.
Yeah. That's like you woke up super hungover and it's like the crisis mode, and then it's like you're gonna get out of the shower and you're still gonna proceed to have a terrible day, but that's kind of
100%.
like the climax of it all.
Yeah. You're like, here we go.
Yeah.
You're coming out of the womb.
You probably woke up a little drunk. Yeah. You woke up still drunk, so you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then it hits you,
Oh,
and then you're
yeah.
like fetal position shower.
Totally.
Yeah, you'll make it through. Just get some liquid IVs or Gatorade or
Yeah, you have
whatever.
to drink the water.
Yeah,
That's more important
yeah,
than
slurp it while you're
than laying down in it, I
Laying.
would say.
What part of the city do you live in?
Dorchester.
Okay, nice. So
Yeah.
then you might relate to this next one. So it says, heading to Southie right now, but why am I drinking on a Sunday? I'm too old for this. My back hurts. And I meant where you live is close to Southie, not that you're too old. 'Cause
Totally.
you're
Well,
younger than me.
I just outed myself and said I identified as millennial, so it would be a fair shot.
Have you ever done a Southie Sunday?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I think during like the tail end of COVID, when people were like vaccinated but still
Yeah.
working from home, was when Southeast Sunday peaked.
Yeah. So if you guys don't live in the Boston area, Southeast Sunday is a tradition here in Boston where people go and day drink in the part of Boston known as Southie.
Yeah.
It's basically the not only place in the city, but the most reliable place in the city that at any point in time during the week there are people drinking.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I feel like Southeast Sunday is just like a rebrand for being an alcoholic.
yeah, it really is because it's happening Monday. It's
Yeah.
happening Tuesday.
No, it's just 7 days
It's,
a week.
it's 7 days a week, but they've made a moment out of Sunday. So if your scaries are ever that bad, you can go from watching this
Just
podcast
keep the party going.
over to Lincoln. They have a great brunch. I also like Broadway. What's your favorite brunch spot in Southie?
I like Lincoln. I also love their live music on Sunday
Yep.
nights.
Yeah,
when
they
it's
have
Legends of Summer.
yep.
It's so good. So that's my go-to Sunday night spot.
Yeah, I'd say though you have to cut yourself off by like 5 p.m. Otherwise, this is a Monday problem as well.
Oh, totally.
Like-
I've never once cut myself off.
Yeah, but you have to because I have found myself. So when I lived in Southie, I lived right on West Broadway, so it was really hard to pull yourself away because you're like, I can go home at any minute.
Yeah.
Find myself in Lincoln until 2 a.m. and then having to work the next morning.
100%.
It's brutal. So just set a time where you're gonna leave and stick to it no matter what. Like
100%.
Irish exit if you have to, but Southie Sundays, they're not for the week, but they, if done wisely, can actually ease you back into your Monday.
100%. I always mandatory leave when the music stops.
Yeah,
Like,
but the
don't
music
post
stops
game.
late. They
I know,
treat
they
you
go
like every
till
other day.
9. It's enough time to get something to eat, drink a water,
Yeah.
be ready for Monday morning.
I spent $65 on Ubers to meet up with a man who never showed up, and then I cried Ubering home.
Woof. If I was a lawyer, I'd say sue them.
Yeah, Venmo request.
I was going to say that, literally Venmo request.
Yeah, or I don't know. It's that to me kind of feels like a movie moment, that like crying in the Uber. Like what sound
Yeah.
would play in the background of your Uber home?
It's got to be one
cry?
of those like songs from like rom-coms that are
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
in every
I think mine
one
would
of
be
those
Linger
moments.
by the Cranberries.
That's a good one for sure.
Or
That's like literally every scene in the back of a cab
yeah.
with like a woman crying in New York.
It's like, where are we going?
Yeah,
Home.
catch the feels. Or like a little Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah. Or where are you living that? Like you got to commute 65 hours. Like you're traveling
Also,
for,
like how hot was this man that you had to
yeah, that he's
like I
ruining
think if
your
I saw an Uber price
credit.
that was so high, I would like maybe second guess
Yeah.
going. I don't know.
Also, like spent $65 on Ubers. Like, is he bringing you on a wild goose hunt or like
A
why
wild
are you
goose chase.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever you chase goose, I would hunt them.
So true.
But yeah, like is he giving you multiple spots to meet up, and now you're like,
Yeah. I mean, I also this could probably be from anywhere, but also in Boston, I don't even know where you could
you're in
Uber for
Worcester.
60. Yeah,
If you're
65.
Ubering from Boston to Worcester,
Upstate
that's
New
like
York.
65. Yeah, you can get pretty far with 65
You've crossed state
bucks.
lines for sure.
Yeah, take it as a movie moment and grow from it, is what I would say. This one just says, my dad named me Brian, which is a wild submission.
Yeah. I mean, you can change your name, I
Yeah,
guess.
you
but
can. Go by, like, Ryan.
learn to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, rebrand with a nickname.
What's so bad about Brian? I don't know. My name, our name's the most common name out there, Matt.
Yeah. I also have like I come from a large Irish Catholic family, so we recycle names. It's like we have multiple Michaels, multiple Brians, multiple Williams.
But Matthew's not very Irish.
No, but it's Catholic. So
That's
we have,
true.
The gospel.
I am Catholic,
the
or
OG
I was.
Well, there might have been someone.
There's some
before.
holy water over there. Let's
Yeah.
give it a spray while we're here. If we're both Catholic. No, really, next to you. That's
Oh,
holy
okay.
water spray. I got it blessed. So we just every now and then, yeah. Amen. But yeah, Matthew, I always wanted my parents to. So my parents both have very Italian names. They were like from Italy. So my mom's name is Cinzia, but she goes by Cindy, and my dad's name is
wow.
Dino, and he just goes by Dino, which is actually kind of a sick name.
Yeah.
But growing up, my parents both named us, me and my sister, names that could have Italian versions, but were Americanized because they didn't want people mispronouncing it when reading attendance in school and stuff like that, because they
Totally.
remember it was like their trauma as childhood that they projected onto us.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be
Hate when that
Matteo.
happens.
Like Matteo's so cool, and my sister's name's Leah, but spelt the American way instead of Lia, which is the Italian way. So we have our our Italian family calls us those things.
Yeah.
But
That's kind of cool.
yeah, but I want on paper my name to be Matteo, and it's too late to change because that's so pick me.
I know, well, you're so far in too.
Yeah,
You have the
it's-
Instagram handle. You'd
Yeah.
have to do a total rebrand.
Yeah, I
It'd
could
be a
go by-
marketing nightmare.
Yeah, it really would be. Oh, we need a whole redesign with everything.
Your parents are from Italy?
Yeah, so my mom was born there. She moved here when she was 6 years old, and my dad was actually born in the United States, but like his family like moved, like they were fresh off the boat. So
Oh, wow.
he is an American citizen. So I just say I'm like they're from Italy, but because it's so weird to like
Yeah.
except once removed from my dad, like it's
Yeah,
to over explain
no, we
it.
don't have
But
to get into that.
but yeah, and they're both.
Have you done the whole thing? Have you like gone back to Italy?
Yeah, I've done a
like,
bunch. I've lived there twice.
met your Nona.
Yeah, I still have. So my mom has two siblings that stayed there in their extended family. So I have first cousins, aunts, uncles still there in the
Wow,
town that
so
they grew up. Yeah,
cool.
because they were. So my mom's the youngest of six. They were already 18 and married by the time that my mom was like six,
Wow.
moving here with her parents. So it
What
was.
part of Italy?
It's called Frosinone. It's like
Okay,
outside
that
of Rome.
Italian accent was iconic.
Well, I speak Italian.
Yeah, but
A little bit.
You're flexing on it for
But
sure.
yeah, I was. It's like prosciutto. But when I go to Italian restaurants like in the North End, I'm like,
was
can I
gonna
get the prosciutto?
I'll bring you to the
and
North End
and the
anytime.
mortadella because I
Yeah.
hate being the guy that overpronounces.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, good luck, Brian.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian.
My first weekend in Boston, I didn't realize how short all the men are.
You know, I feel like it's like a christening of arriving in the city.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
like a realization that everyone has at some point.
realizing you can see over everyone's heads at the bar. You're pretty tall. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
No, you're
Like
not.
an actual 5'10".
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I'm like, yeah, me too.
How tall are you?
I
Okay,
never
I might
say
be
it.
lying. I
won't
might be
discuss-
5'9".
I think you're taller. I would have
People
put you
keep
at
telling
5'11".
me that, but I swear
At
I'm
least
5'9". But then I just say 5'10".
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
round up.
I don't know. I have a few.
I don't know if anyone's buying
I'm like,
it.
I have my license height. I have my actual height.
What does
I
it
have
say on your
my-
license?
My dating profile height. My license, it says 5'10", but that's because they don't verify it.
Totally.
But and then I have my like without shoes height. I have
That's
my with
funny
shoes
that you
height.
lied on your license.
Yeah, it's so that I can, if anyone
Wait,
ever
so
checked
what's
me,
higher, your license or your hinge?
my hinge.
Okay, totally. Totally. I feel like the license is when you find out the truth. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So I lied on it.
so you're consistent.
Yeah.
When you're lying, it's important to be
Yeah.
consistent.
But
I'd
like
say.
with shoes, I'd say I'm about 5'10". Like if a cop pulled me over and checked my 5'10" license, it would be accurate. Like it's just maybe not the same that
if
I'm
you
at the
cross-reference
doctor's.
it with your hinge, it
Or
might
my
be
doctor's
accurate.
office height. Like that's my worst height. I don't like the doctor's office height.
Do you know? Are you gonna tell people?
I
what
went to
it
the
is?
doctor's today actually, and I was
What
like,
is
maybe
it?
I grew, and it's the same girl every time. She's great, but she's like,
You didn't.
you didn't.
Drink more milk.
Yeah, we'll try. But yeah, Boston is notoriously the city of short kings. People tell me, they come up to me, they're like, you overhype yourself as a short king. Like, you're not that short. I was like, no, if you leave Boston, I am short. Like, everywhere
Yeah.
else, there are these, like, corn-fed guys that are tall. Like, you're just
Like
so
Chicago?
desensitized. Yeah.
Chicago people are
Anywhere in the
tall.
Midwest, I went to school in the Midwest. Those motherfuckers are huge.
They're
They're corn
huge.
stalks. And here in Boston, you're just desensitized to people under 6 feet. So when you see me,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, no, you're average. I'm like, yeah, average, but in a city of short kings. So, yeah, get used
It's
to it.
our
But-
cross to bear, I think.
Yeah. But you know what they say about short kings? Well, they say a lot of things, but
I was gonna say,
good
what
face
do they
cards.
say?
Face cards never decline.
So true. I think Nikki Glaser said that too.
She did. She's like, I married for the face.
yeah, you take a hit in the height for
Yeah.
like more in the face.
Yeah. She's an icon. Right, the sixth one says, I had PTO tomorrow and I canceled it to be a responsible adult.
Oh wow. I don't think I've ever done that in my life.
The only time I've canceled PTO was when like something like my trip got. I was like, no, I want to work this. Like I want
Right,
it back.
something like external that's not to do with work.
Yeah, not to
Yeah.
be like a responsible adult. You couldn't pay me to do that. Well, I guess you could technically pay me by definition to do that, but like that's I feel like you need to take breaks. Like I think we live in a culture of just overworking and glamorizing this hustle culture,
100%.
but it's actually really important to take a rest.
Yeah. I think there's like a balance there for sure. I think even if something happened with my trip, I feel like I would still keep the PTO and do some like self-care.
Yeah, do
like,
something else.
Go to the gym, go to a yoga
Yeah,
class.
if it was
like,
if you're like at the end of the year and you're using it up and it
yeah,
doesn't
like
roll
walk
over.
around, get a coffee or something.
Yeah, those days are the best days sometimes too. But I'd say like one thing since going full time into social media and not technically having PTO, but also having unlimited PTO in a way, I have never worked more and given myself less rest. It's like if I
Yeah.
have free time, I am filling it with like a task item, a to do, a new project. But that's
Yeah.
like me. Like I think having an institution that systemizes your rest is
Yeah.
actually super helpful.
Can be beneficial for sure.
So use it, and like that's what I'm trying to do now is actually
Yeah.
make intentional time to rest before and schedule it as something as important as another
Yeah,
commitment
you
that I
have
might have.
to do it. I think it's like obviously I said I'm new to the kind of the creator space, but what's so interesting, I feel like a lot of people don't know how consuming it can be.
Yeah.
And like you can set goals for yourself, but once you hit them, it just you're right on to the next one.
Yeah.
Like it never stops because you're always wanting to grow or get more views or more followers.
Yeah, the more
or-
you put into it, the literal more you get out of it.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. It also is like a dopamine hit. Like you and I have
Oh
actually
my
chatted
God.
about this before. It's
Yeah.
like when something goes viral, it's like it's having a chemical reaction in your brain that you kind of get
1000%.
addicted to. So
Yeah.
that's something that can very quickly lead to burnout
bad,
creatively
yeah.
and physically,
100%.
mentally. So yeah, I would say be the responsible adult by taking your PTO next time.
Oh, that's so well put, Matt.
Thank you.
That's why you have the podcast.
That's why we're here. Divulged that I had a 3-way with my boss and my husband at my boss's wedding.
Okay. That is so out of pocket.
That is pretty out of pocket. Like, did you have a speech? Were you like the best man?
Did they object, you think?
Or did you just go around telling everyone this?
I feel like I can see someone getting too drunk and saying, like, to
To like
other
your
guests.
table?
Yeah. Like
When you're
people-
like the one off at your table, like, that like you got invited, but Maybe you
Yeah.
were a later invite until you're at that table of just
Yeah, and sometimes you
the
have to
randoms.
overshare to make friends,
Yeah.
you know?
And
Just
everyone's the kind of the fringe table at the wedding. And you're
totally.
like, so how do you know the groom? And you're like, well, we actually had a three-way with him and my
Yeah,
husband.
I think if I was in that situation, I'd probably make something up.
Yeah. Yeah. Just makes it. Yeah. That's. You can
Right?
make something up.
Like a consistent lie. Like I don't
Yeah.
think I would say at someone's wedding that I had a
Unless you have
threesome with them.
feelings. Like this is also
Yeah,
low
but
key.
then I
Like
think you don't
if
go if you have
any
feelings.
objections, speak now.
I think if you can't go to a wedding and like keep it together, part of me thinks like you shouldn't go.
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
Like just decline.
But what if they don't know that you have those feelings? Like you're married too, it seems, because they had the three-way with the bot. Like this is now two married people.
Yeah, I mean it's getting more complicated.
Yeah.
by
Also,
this.
did you have your husband there as a plus one, or
Yeah, and I wonder if like the husband said anything
did it happen again?
on the wedding night.
It could. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what they were trying to do. Or it's getting
try to
right
get the
into
ball
swinging.
rolling again.
Yeah.
The boss looked really good in the tux
Yeah.
or wedding dress.
But whatever. At the end of the day, you're both married.
I've had some like bad. I've gotten being
any
the
crazy
drunkest
wedding stories.
skunk at
But you were just at a few weddings, right? Or
yeah, I've been going to. I feel like I'm at that time where everyone hits,
Yep.
where it's just like your back to back wedding season, which has been so much fun. I haven't had any burnout yet, which is I'm kind of bracing myself for when I
it'll come.
get over
I went
it.
to 11 last year, so it'll come.
But the first wedding I ever went to, it was a girl I had worked with, who's a little bit older. And I just was like so excited. It was my first wedding, like without my family.
Yeah.
And I totally overshot it.
Yeah. Really put the open bar to the test.
Really put the open bar to the test. And I was supposed to fly to Alaska to go on a cruise with my dad's family or fly
Okay.
to Seattle. Totally missed my flight.
Oh God. Did you miss the boat?
No, I met up with the boat at their
Okay.
first stop. Like I went into like logistical emergency management mode. But I pulled into the airport in time to see, and it was like Bangor, Maine. So they have like no flights. I literally saw my flight take off. And
You can get to Alaska from Maine? Or no, you were in Maine.
so you can, if you fly to Seattle and then get on a puddle jumper that flies from Seattle airport to Alaska.
Oh, okay. See, I'm switching. You know how when the globe, when you get to the top of it, it starts to get small. I'm thinking like, how close
No,
is
geography
Maine to
is
Seattle?
so hard.
It is.
I can assure you it's
You know
far.
what? Like when the map gets flat. Anyways,
Yeah, totally.
that makes sense. But you caught it.
I caught it, but being the drunkest skunk at a wedding, like I think is some of the worst anxiety you can get.
I went to one wedding in Barcelona, and I don't think I was the drunkest, but I definitely this wedding went till 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Like we watched
European
this.
weddings.
So
are, like,
at
built
that time,
different.
like everyone was crazy, but like definitely not a fun situation.
I mean, at
to,
one
like,
point, I had her mom. She's like one of my best friends, but her mom said to me at the reception, like, I think if you're catching a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow, like you should mix in a water.
Yeah.
And I held up apparently my Bud Light and said, I'm drinking water.
It's mostly water, anyways.
It's 100%. That was just hydrating.
It's a little weedy water, but
Yeah, and luckily too, there were other people that were more drunk.
There always is.
I was told I
Always
came in
is.
third.
And you know what? You were the fun one. People remember you as the fun one.
I also there's a fine line walking of like being entertainment for people or like telling funny out of pocket stories about like what you did at a wedding and then
Being
taking
the sloppy
things too
one.
far.
As long as you don't fall in the wedding cake or like take away from, I think, the experience.
Like a big moment.
Yeah, like if you just are embarrassing yourself, I think it's harmless.
Yeah. Would you say falling out of your chair during the grandmother's speech would be embarrassing?
No, I mean, yes.
I was at the back of the
That's embarrassing, but it's not like
Only
you
my
fell
table
on the
side.
grandma and broke her back and now she couldn't give her speech. Like, that's the difference.
See, this is why this podcast is
Yeah,
so great,
it's the
'cause
nuances.
I already feel better. But it was good. Like, I felt like I learned how to regulate at a wedding after that experience.
Yeah.
But it's hard. 'Cause sometimes you get caught up in the moment.
Yeah, maybe bring back cash bars at weddings.
That is...
I'm kidding.
I was like, take that back.
Yeah,
Honestly,
hot
I'm
take.
going to spray you for saying that. I'm not a cash bar wedding person, I don't think.
Yeah, don't invite me if you have a cash bar.
Well, I just never bring cash. Our generation
I mean,
doesn't
it's not
carry
actually cash. They take credit card. It's just, I think, the same.
I've been to a wedding that was just actual cash.
So then that's a money laundering front.
Yeah, probably. We should investigate that.
All right, there's the next one. Based on my dating escapades this weekend, serious gay dating is as real as Bigfoot.
Wait, can you read that again?
It says, based on my dating escapades this weekend, serious gay dating is as real as Bigfoot. So meaning like dating seriously in the gay dating world
It's
is
so
as real
hard.
as Bigfoot.
Yeah. I've had such a hard time.
Yeah, tell me more about your experience.
Well, I honestly haven't dove into it like head first yet because I've been going to school nights, but I think it's so hard. I think that the like pitfalls that straight women go through with like guys not wanting to commit or only wanting to hook up, it's like double as hard because you're both men.
Well, you also are dealing with, so yes, like men inherently, I think, have a tougher time with their emotions. Then two, you're now dealing with someone who has gone through like an emotional trauma for a lot of their life and like having to come out.
Totally.
So it's like you have the double kind of layers there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on for sure.
So yeah. So do you date in Boston, or like was this the first city you've dated in?
Yeah, it was the first city I dated in for sure. And it's been like I've had a like fine time like setting up dates and stuff and like finding guys on Hinge or whatever that I like or would want to go out on a date with. But I also, from what I've heard from like my friends and stuff, New York and DC is way better.
I think it's also just a numbers game. I think like in the gay
we're a smaller
community,
city.
it's so small. Like already, like everyone knows each other. Everyone's hooked up with each other. It's like it's a pretty, not incestuous, but like small bunch.
Totally.
And then you get to like a city that, like, I would say the straight dating pool in Boston is already have a lot of like crossover.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone is like someone's friend's
and then
cousin from
you
elementary
whittle
school.
that down, you filter that down to gay, and now it's like there's a lot
Even
less.
smaller,
So you kind of have to go to one of the bigger cities. But I think it exists. I think you have to be really like upfront with your intentions. Like if someone that you're dating like tells you that they're only looking for a hookup, like believe them. Don't try and change them. Don't try and think that, oh, maybe over time I'll win them over with my personality. It's like usually if someone's telling you they're not looking for a relationship, they're not looking for a relationship.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think it's also manage your expectations, and like it's gonna be a numbers game. You're gonna have to go through a lot of people, but continuing to just be upfront with your intention that I am dating serious with like purpose. I think eventually you will find that.
Yeah, and I feel like that goes the same for like straight gay
for
dating,
anyone,
whatever.
for
It's
everyone.
just, and I think it's so easy to get like downtrodden about that and be like, this doesn't exist, but it does. Like people, I know couples that have met on Hinge. A couple of them have gotten married. Like it happens.
It's like
but like I would agree, it's a numbers game.
It's also like a little bit of the victim mindset, like, oh no, like I can't find anyone. It's like, well, you're kind of now putting that out there, and that's the filter you're seeing everything with. So I think it's just like anything, it's a numbers game.
I think the 20s are so hard too, where you're like seeing your friends get married and like people are just at such different chapters in their life in such a short amount of time. And I think that makes it harder.
It does.
Like when you're like going on a date and then you're going to your best friend's wedding the next weekend and you're just like, what the fuck?
Or you're like going to a Southie Sunday the day before. Like there are so many life stages. We've talked about that on here before. Like just that your early 20s, it stays a little bit more uniform where everyone's at in life. But once you kind of break the mid to late 20s into early 30s, it's really anything from people settling down, starting to have kids, getting married, to like people moving to new cities and kind of redefining themselves and still like I'm not like continuing their 20s, because I think people can party into their 40s. Like you can party into as long as you want.
I plan on doing that.
Yeah. So I think it's totally normal. I think it's just not setting certain expectations and timelines and just kind of living your life intuitively, kind of as it feels right.
Yeah, and communicating, like you said. Like I think being upfront about that's the most important thing.
100%. So shifting gears, this one says, coming off a 3-day bender and a new job starts tomorrow.
Woof.
This is one of the worst, but universal experiences.
Totally.
Not necessarily a new job. I maybe would have taken it easy, but...
or like build in one extra day to like rot
to
before
hydrate.
You start. Yeah. But you just got to power through. You just got to roll right into it, I would say.
Odds are like your first week are a wash at a new company anyways. Like play the new card. You're basically just listening into meetings and such. So it's like you can't like use
Yeah.
the excuse for a little bit.
Also, is there anything worse than being hungover during an orientation though?
Yeah, that's
Like
another thing.
watching
Like,
like the HR videos
no,
or
it's awful, and I don't like if this is an in person. Now, days I would imagine first days of work are back in person, unless it's a hybrid job. Then odds are
I think
Mondays
it's mixed.
typically
It just
are a remote.
depends. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can ease into it. Hopefully, it's a remote day, and then, um, yeah, I would just say like you got like really the first 2 weeks season. No one's gonna notice you're hungover. They're just gonna think you're quiet.
Yeah. I mean, as I would say the biggest thing is just showing up dressed normally
Yeah,
and then you can power through the
yeah.
day.
Don't smell like whiskey. Like,
That's always good advice,
yeah,
I would say.
like actually stop the bender.
Yeah, unless you're at like a pub, I would say
Yeah.
don't smell like whiskey.
Oh yeah, that's another good point. Is like, what's the industry? Like, is it even a corporate job? Like, or is this like a
Oh,
nursing
that's a
or a
good point,
doctor,
too.
or is it a bartender? In which case, you're probably fine.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
the
if,
doctor.
if you're a
but
bartender, you just have a drink, I would
yeah, I'm
say.
like, I think you're in the
Like,
right profession.
yeah,
I'm
just
like, you actually were working all
shampoo
weekend.
affected until you can start hydrating again.
All right, this one says, I told my boss I hated my job and she demoted me the next day.
I mean, that sounds about right. I think you can communicate to your boss that you're not happy with like your role without saying
Yeah.
you hate it. I think
Yeah.
saying you hate a job maybe.
It's a little disrespectful.
Yeah, well, it's just tricky. I think you're
Yeah.
walking on thin ice, and
Yeah.
it depends on the role too. Like
Yeah.
if you're, that person's like right hand man or woman, and you say you hate it, like
Yeah.
you can't have someone functioning in that role that
And
doesn't.
they're probably projecting a little bit because if you hate the job, they're a big piece of the job, right? Like your manager determines a lot of your happiness and success like in a role. So they're probably taking it offensively. They probably felt hurt and now they're trying to hurt you by demoting you. However, the way I would have gone about this is you express, hey, there are some learning opportunities that I would like to kind of explore potentially in new projects or adjacent roles. Like, would you be supportive of me starting to have like casual interviews, informational interviews with some people on different teams and different departments to kind of explore that. So that way you're not saying like I hate my job and I'm unhappy. It's kind of framed in a personal development way, and that you want exposure to new things. If you downright hate your job, hate the boss, hate the company, then like I think you got to leave or just start applying other places.
100% agree. I think a lot of people are nervous to do that because it's such a process. But I think if you're so unhappy where you're using that word hate,
Yeah.
then it's time to probably move on.
I mean, we live in an era of ChatGPT. You can have it write you a resume and a cover letter. Like
True.
all of those barriers are coming down. Granted, like, make sure it doesn't sound like a robot wrote it, but like it
Yeah.
used to be so much harder to write a cover letter, write a resume. It has never been easier with AI. Like you can apply to jobs pretty quickly nowadays. I think also use your network. I think the number one, I've worked both like sides of it. So like I've went to business school and
yeah.
recruited and got jobs, but I've also led recruiting for a company and hired people and been a hiring manager. And I think like the number one way you stand out is by having a network.
100%.
Because this person's getting a flood of cover letters and resumes. Odds are they're not reading it, but when you reach out to set up time to learn more or get coffee or whatever, you're just like making such a better impact. And like don't ever feel ashamed or like you're a nepo baby or anything like that, like for using a connection.
Yeah. I
Because-
agree. I tell people to shake that. I mean, the reality, or like when I advise people to shake that normally, because the reality is that there's someone else out there that
That's
is
gonna do
flexing
it.
on their network, and
Yeah.
they're going to get their resume read over yours.
Yeah.
I mean, I know someone that worked in a role they were hiring like for a really competitive internship. They got like an insane amount of applications.
Yeah.
I think the number they used was 10,000,
Wow.
which is crazy. And unless you were marked as knowing someone,
Yeah, a lot of times
They
the
just
systems
threw it
will-
out.
Yeah, the systems will have a flagging system
Right.
that they don't even look at. I mean, it's someone's full-time job to go through all of that, and they don't want to do it. Like, if anything, they're using ChatGPT too. So it's
I know. I also wonder, to your point too, if it has gotten more competitive because people are using AI to
Maybe.
like bolster their resumes and cover letters in
Like
a way that they
volume.
weren't able to before.
Yeah, I mean, I think though, like cover letters and resumes are always just foot in the doors to get the
I agree.
conversation. I think then like you need to be able to speak to
Do
your
people even
experience and
read
get
cover
interviews.
letters, honestly? Is that
Maybe.
still a thing?
Yeah,
I
it
haven't applied
is.
to a job in a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I post fucking wiener videos on the internet, so I'm definitely
You're not
not
the best
professional anymore.
source.
It is funny how I went to business school just to end up making lowbrow wiener jokes on the internet, but like
Whatever pays the
everything's a
bills.
journey.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
As long as you're not on Feet Finder.
yeah, I'm not on FootFinder or OnlyFans.
Yet.
Renting too. We'll see.
See how the podcast goes.
But I swear,
Keep
I
watching,
actually have a professional background
Yeah.
beyond just using my dog for funny penis jokes on the internet.
Whatever works, man.
All right. Well, that wraps our rapid fire round. So now we'll transition into scary story time. So I have a few scaries here that I think can cue up a little bit of a larger conversation.
Okay.
But the first one is I won a company award on a department-wide video call, but I was cam off on the toilet pooping while it happened.
Wow. What do you do in that situation?
All right, I have a confession. This was I submitted that. That happened to me.
Matt, are you kidding me?
I didn't expect, it was like one of those company-wide department meetings. It was mid-COVID. So I was just like cam off. Like I didn't even know we were doing awards. There's like hundreds of people on it. I had to go to the bathroom. I brought the computer into the bathroom, placed it down on the sink. I'm doing my business. All of a sudden, they're like giving out these awards for it was really just like an employee nominated award, so it was like the last person to win it awards the next person.
Okay.
So it's just like something they could have done nice, so like maybe you went above and beyond for someone or did a nice gesture, or you did something really great that there's just no formal like recognition for.
Yeah.
So it was one of those, and they said my name, and they're like, okay, like Matt, are you there? Like, can you turn your camera on? And I'm literally in the middle of
Did you know that was
2.
like your category?
No, I mean anyone's up for it.
Oh,
Anyone
okay.
in that, so it's like friend or not friend, but
The
like
panic
coworker
that would've
nominated.
set in.
Oh, I panicked. I like ran out of there. I went back. I had my pants around my ankles.
100%. You
I'm
don't have
like,
time to put your pants on
yeah,
in that
so I'm
situation.
like running back to my desk, like turn it on. Like obviously, like haven't wiped out, and so I'm like sitting.
Oh,
back,
that's so
I'm like sitting back
gross.
in my seat, and I'm just like accepting the award. I'm like, thank you.
These will be the
like,
stories that we tell our kids
Yes.
about, like during COVID.
Yeah.
Walking uphill to school both ways vibes.
Yes, exactly. So not my best moment.
Were you
but
like actually just going to the bathroom in and out, or were you like scrolling on your phone?
scrolling on my phone?
Totally.
Too. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I was taking my sweet time.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
So, but a lot of your content. So the reason I bring this story in is a lot of your content.
I'd love to hear this.
It's quite a segue. Is like
Yeah.
about these Zoom kind of nightmares or
Totally.
gone wrong. So I guess just like, do you have any similar stories of kind of, or like, are any of your videos inspired by any true stories?
Yeah, I feel like we source some ideas, like the tanning bed video, that girl, Catherine, who does the videos with me.
Yeah, she's great.
She's so funny and so talented. That was totally her idea because she works in, I think, commercial real estate.
Yeah.
And she was like, I have been in like a tanning bed during a Zoom meeting. Like, we have to do it. And there's something so comedic about the little glasses.
Yeah, the little
like,
glasses.
They look absurd. But yeah, I feel like a lot of them are just based off of actual experiences
Yeah.
and like dealing with different personalities
Yeah,
too.
and I remember I collabed with you guys on one of them, and I was in the sheets, I was in the bed.
Yeah,
That was
I
another
mean,
big one.
it's so funny. Like, I've mentioned this 1,000 times, but was just graduated law school, and like a couple of my classes were online, and it was so funny to me seeing what certain people would do during Zoom class sessions. Like, we had people breastfeeding. At one point, I have like the most out of pocket screenshots. Like, at one point, like someone's cat like literally was staring in the camera, like full frontal face
Yeah.
while a professor is talking, and I would have to turn my camera off because it's so funny.
So funny because then now
I
you're
can't.
laughing.
Yeah, one girl asleep, like fully asleep on a class call, just
Yeah.
literally sitting there, like eyes closed, snoring. You just can't make it up.
No, those were the days, though. I mean, I now
They
see,
still are.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Well,
I
you're hybrid.
feel like people. I want to say that people have like gotten it gotten better. I think
Yeah.
there was a huge learning curve.
Well, because now all these companies are like, no, you're not more productive at home. Come back to work. We're doing like a 4-day in office policy. So it is funny though how this whole culture of like cam on, cam off culture like got created out of this COVID world. Like I don't think Zoom ever expected all of that to happen.
No, and if they did, like I would have invested.
Yeah, and these like social rules behind it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
do you still do like pajamas on the bottom when you're doing like a Zoom meeting?
I honestly I sleep in kind of like this. Like I feel like I don't really have formal pajamas.
Okay.
So I wear
Just like
comfy
sweats.
clothes a lot of times that could be pajamas. So
also the videos of people during COVID like wearing their boxers, but
like the interviews,
but they're still in frame.
Yeah,
it's like come on.
Yeah, I mean, you can see yourself in the corner. I mean, I'm also always looking at myself transparently in the camera reflection. Yeah, but what you don't, you're
no. 100%.
I can see everyone's eyes are always in the bottom right.
Oh yeah.
All right, this next.
Did you see they're selling a camera that you can drop down to the middle of your computer screen so that when you're like looking at yourself,
looks like you're paying attention.
It looks like you're looking. Yeah, like
no, that's smart. That's entrepreneurship.
Yeah, they didn't even pay me to say that.
Yeah,
just like free advertising.
Sure? What's the name? You want to look at the camera?
I don't know actually. So maybe they could sponsor us. Sponsor this episode.
This one says, I accidentally Snapchatted a nude to a coworker.
I would say just like immediately apologize. I don't know. I that's like, what do you have to say to that?
I also submitted this one.
Okay, I need details about like what
this was a long time ago.
Was it like a dick pic or was it like full frontal?
Everything. And
wow.
I don't do this typically, but obviously I have. And I would say, so I was an intern at the time, and I'm so glad
you were an
I couldn't
intern?
tell this story if
it was to another intern.
I was an intern to another intern.
Okay.
And I had a crush on her, so like it was fine. I just didn't mean to send it to her. I honestly don't really remember. I think I was sending it. There was one girl. Her name started with S. I was sending it to another girl whose name also started with S, who I was hooking up with. I was really, really drunk.
It's like Taylor's oldest
and I was
time.
like, I was like, I never do this. This person was asking for it. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like I was drunk. I send it. And I Snapchat both of them pretty often because like this was like the person I was seeing and person I had a crush on in Snapchat.
Yeah.
One just happened to be my coworker and I accidentally mixed it up. I immediately texted. I was like, do not open. I was like, I got hacked. And it was not true.
That is actually such a good excuse.
I got hacked, but it's a picture of me naked.
I mean, you could just. I mean, honestly, I feel like if someone said that to me, I would totally buy it.
I was like, I got hacked by myself.
And is like sending out my nudes to everyone. Yeah. Here's the $1 million question. What was her response?
I mean, I think she liked it.
Did you end up hooking up with her?
No.
Okay.
But
did she send one back?
She had a boyfriend.
So the plot thickens.
Yeah. So it never went anywhere.
Did she open it or just delete it?
No, she opened it, and I'm pretty sure she brought a group of people around. Like I think I basically was like, "Don't open it," and that meant okay, I'm gonna open this in front of people with my friends. And I was like,
at that point,
awesome.
You just have to like.
One of my scariest moments, but and technically, I think this went down after the internship. It was a summer internship, so I was like in college too.
Oh, so you also weren't working with her anymore?
No.
That makes things
so
a lot
like
better,
I'm just like I'm backtracking a bit, but technically, this story is true.
That is like an HR nightmare.
Though. It really is. So
be careful out there, kids.
I'm not going for any more jobs at that company, so we're all good.
Totally.
My new boss, though, he sucks.
Aaron?
No, myself. Aaron's our producer.
Sending nudes to yourself would be extremely narcissistic.
Guilty. All right, now we're entering our last segment. So like I said, I mentioned that I get a lot of crazy stories. Not all of them are just submitted by me or others, but we're going to play a game where I'm going to read it, and I try and pick the craziest ones too to make it fun.
Yeah, and I'm going to be bad at this.
Well, when in doubt. You're not going to doing it for anything. There's no cash prize. No prize. So it's just for brownie points.
Totally.
So I'll read it and you have to tell me whether it's legit or full of shit.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so
That's right.
I couldn't open my apartment door fast enough and I pissed myself, then threw up all night.
I would say legit.
That one is in fact legit.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? I feel like that can happen.
It's
to
funny
someone.
because you're no longer full of shit. Or, well, I guess you didn't poop yourself, but
The panic between when you like get in your building or pull into your driveway and the bathroom, it increases.
yeah,
like,
it does. You
tenfold.
have to go more as you're
I
getting
need to know
closer
the science behind that.
Yeah, no, you really do. It gets worse the closer you're there.
Like fumbling with the keys.
Yeah. All right, next one. Legit or full of shit. Blacked out at my coworker's wedding and woke up in the honeymoon suite.
Wow. I'm going to say full of shit.
Wow, that's 2 for 2. Yeah, that one is full of shit.
Okay. I was going to say that like the couple would kick you out for sure.
Yeah.
Or like
Unless
the
it
maid
was-
of honor would come in.
Or
and
like, what
just
if you are
drag
the maid of
out.
honor, or like you are the best man, or it's your brother-in-law, or where
You're still getting kicked out of the honeymoon suite.
I know,
though.
but that could like happen. You could have access. Like if you're in the wedding party, maybe you
Totally.
had access there.
But I think what gave it away would be the waking up.
That's true. True.
Like if someone was in my honeymoon suite,
be
I
out.
don't give a who they are.
Yeah,
they're
they're
getting
getting out.
thrown. They're sleeping in the hallway.
Fair enough. All right, next one. Brought a guy home, and the next morning he asked me if he could Venmo request him for the Uber, and he only lived 4 blocks away.
Legit.
That one is full of shit.
Fuck.
Thank God. That would be kind
That
of a
is like
nightmare.
something a dumb guy would do though.
Yeah. Just be like, hey, can we split it?
Yeah. The Venmo request, there's no bigger ick to me than when someone Venmo requests for a minor thing.
Yeah.
Like the next day.
Yeah.
I think that's
No,
just
I feel
so...
that. And also, like, is this dude homeless? Like, he slept over. He needs money. Like, you say 4 blocks away. Is he really just living on the block 4 blocks away?
It's the substation. Like,
Yeah. All right, so you got your two for 1.
okay.
Or
2-1.
2 for 3.
There we go.
Math. I went on TikTok live as my ex was breaking up with me. The only people to join were my coworkers.
What? I'm full of shit?
This one was legit.
That is like nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it's also like what were you like? Get ready with me to get dumped. Like, why
Yeah.
are you going on?
Why
your
wouldn't
live?
you end the live also?
Yeah.
But I feel like people are so comfortable sharing stuff
Yeah.
these days too that they let the camera roll,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's like it's kind of like reality TV. You know? It's just
And also, why are your coworkers the only ones following you? Or
that's
that would
true.
sh-
If
or
my
that would tune
coworkers,
in?
well, I mean, they did, but like in the beginning, like TikTok, I started posting on first because it felt anonymous.
Totally.
So why, like, the last people I wanted to see it were my coworkers. Like maybe
Yeah.
my close best friends followed me on TikTok, but
Have you ever like restricted or blocked a manager
no.
from your content?
So when I like started doing content, I worked in a department like marketing where, you know, social media was a big part of the job.
Yeah.
And not mine necessarily, but the department. And I worked for a beer company. So like I think when you combine those two things, like me having a social media presence actually like wasn't really a conflict of interest. If
Yeah.
anything, it
Helped
helped
almost,
because
yeah.
I could kind of show what it was like working for a beer company, and I did.
Yeah.
And I never, especially when I had the corporate job, I sanitized things a lot more than I do now. Like I definitely
Once you branched out. Yeah.
once I, you know, started working for myself and hopefully don't have to work for a corporation again, I started to kind of reveal more. But and I had in my mind, you know, I was a brand manager, so I knew like what was brand safe stuff and what wasn't. So I had a good instinct on it, but it was more just like embarrassing, like when you start something new and you just like have people talking about you at work being like, that's the kid that's trying to be an influencer.
Yeah.
Fast forward, they're still there and I'm here doing this. So
Okay.
fuck you guys. No, I'm just
Hair
kidding. But
flip.
like, yeah, exactly. And but yeah, like I think that was the weird part. But
Yeah.
it never was like a
I don't know if this is true, but I feel like it's harder to get bigger playing it safe all the time.
yeah. You can't like I think
Like you have to push boundaries.
yeah. I mean that's
think.
what makes things relatable. It's the things that like no one else says. That is like
Yeah.
people are scared to say. Is like when you say it. I mean, a lot of the reason that this podcast exists is to really like bring to light the stories that really are a little messy, that are honest, but are kind of like a part of everyone's human experience. So destigmatizing it in a way. So like we're not all perfect all the time, and nor should we try to be.
Totally.
So I see this podcast as an act of service to, I'll be the one to tell my crazy, messy stories if it helps you kind of work through yours, because at the end of the day, you know, nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
Hannah Montana.
A classic.
All right, the next one is I ran my ex over with a Tesla with another guy in the car. Legit or full of shit?
Ran my ex over with a Tesla. I'm going to say legit only because I want that to be true.
It is true. That was legit.
That is insane.
I feel like if I was to get hit by a car.
Was it on purpose? Like,
I'm sure. With another guy, too. Some Bonnie and Clyde shit.
Yeah. And was he egging her on?
Probably. If I got hit by a car, though, I'd want it to be a Tesla because I feel like it would hurt less because it's electric. Like, it's not a Ford.
I don't think the math checks out on that.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like...
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, I guess. Anyone got that? Oh, let me call her up.
Yeah.
All right, you got 3 more.
Okay.
Got fired from my internship because I sent a Snapchat of me doing a body shot to my boss, and I swear I didn't submit this one. Legit or full of shit? And that might have
That has
away.
to be full of shit.
That one is full of shit.
Okay.
Got dumped via Venmo, and he sent me $5 with the note, "For your emotional damages, please don't contact me again."
I'm going to say full of shit again because I want it to not be true.
That was full of shit.
Okay.
Wow, you got 2 back to back.
I feel like if someone was sending that Venmo, it would be more than $5.
That's true.
Like, at least send me 20.
My emotional damage is worth more than $5.
Yeah.
Like, it's
call my therapist. Like,
what, 2 minutes of therapy?
Yeah.
That's $5.
I don't even think that covers 2 minutes of therapy.
Doesn't.
But
all right,
last buy
one.
coffee these days.
Yeah, it doesn't. No, my coffee was $7 this morning.
Yeah. Like,
but it did help me emotionally.
Yeah. Sweet treat.
I hooked up with someone and turned out he was the nurse for my aunt.
Oh, I think legit.
That one is legit.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's so funny to imagine, like, I've talked about this with my friends, like, people in serious work settings.
Yeah.
When you normally just see them, like, out to brunch.
Like
or
as
out
feral
on a
club
Saturday
rats,
night.
and
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
like, you see them, like, nursing an old person.
And then it's like, you're an elementary school teacher? Like, that's what you do, like, every day? Yeah. It's just, like, it's so funny. Or, like, nurse, lawyer, like,
Yeah.
you prosecute
Hey,
people?
you can do both sometimes.
No, listen, I love people who do both. I
Yeah.
think that's, like, the way to live.
Would you have pegged my identity with my career previously, like working in a beer company?
I think, like, as a brand manager,
or just like, yeah, like, should
I
they
think
fit?
that wouldn't surprise
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
I think so. I think like all my, like, even then into the content creation in this, like, I think it all kind of makes sense. I think the one tension was I worked for a beer company, but I really like to exercise in like health and wellness. And a lot of times those went against each other. Was like, I would have to go out and drink like on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. Like,
So are they hiring to fill your position, and should I apply?
Yeah, you can go for it. I think they filled. Actually, they backfilled me before I left because I gave them a pretty like I think they knew things were going, and like I didn't want to like I wanted to keep the relationship, and I'm still really close with my old coworkers. Like my old boss came to the launch party for this
that's cool.
podcast. So in my old, all my old
Yeah, but I feel like it wouldn't have surprised me. I feel like you kind of give like a New York, LA vibe in Boston.
Like
it kind of sticks out. Yeah, I mean it as a compliment.
Thank you.
Most of the time.
Well, cool. Well, that's all I have for scheduled programming. The last thing we have to do is you have to pick a scary of the week. So if there are any that stood out to you.
Of what we just went over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or of any of them, like from anything you heard today. It doesn't have to be just the last segment.
Okay, I think you're sending a full frontal nude to a coworker is like pretty. I think that's the scariest thing.
You know what? I'll have to say that I had the same one in mind.
Yeah, like that is just such a pit.
It really is. I think I backpedaled well from it to break it down, like into less of a scary situation. But on paper, that is exactly what happened, and it was.
I'm like
awful.
So. I think our generation is so cavalier with taking like naked photos and sending them, which I know that's like curmudgeony of me to say, but I just think it's like an interesting phenomenon where like if you were to meet someone out at a bar and you wanted to go home with them, you wouldn't be like, show me a picture of you naked first.
Yeah.
But like that's become the standard, I feel like, for well, at least gay men. And
yeah,
for
in the
sure
gay community, the first thing it's like they don't even want to know your
no,
name.
they don't even
want to
say
know
it.
if
That comes before hello.
They like
it's
cut
like,
or uncut.
Yeah, no, literally. It's like, drop your
like,
location.
Hi, my name's Matt.
Yeah, no, they skip that part. It's just like, so yeah, I don't know. That would terrify me. Also, have you ever gotten the texts that are like, your nudes are on your story? It's like that fake text.
Yeah, I'm like, probably.
You're like, I posted it.
I'm like, did you like the story?
I'm a content creator now. This is how I'm
like, no, I do that every now and then for
story?
engagement.
Did you subscribe?
Yeah. Did it hit its intended audience? All right. Well, that's the scary of the week. I think that's the first time I've won scary of the week. It might have. I've definitely been in the running.
Your own.
I try and share some personal stories as well. So
Yeah.
the least I can do. The only submissions that do not remain anonymous, unfortunately,
Are the
my
ones
own.
that you confess?
Yeah, but if
What's
that can
your
help
biggest
someone,
all-time scary? Have you already said that on the podcast?
I mean, I have to keep producing episodes, so I can't reveal them all at
So true.
once. But I'd say that was definitely a top tier one.
Yeah, I would say that would be up
Yeah,
there.
I pulled that one from the
That
vault.
happened to me.
All right, cool. Well, if you guys are at home still feeling the Sunday scaries, then I hope that this podcast can at least help you a little bit, or if you know of someone that could benefit from it, share it on over and make sure to follow at the Scaries Pod on all platforms, wherever you do social media or listen to podcasts. You can find us there. You can follow myself at the Matty Rossi across platforms. And Matt, are you at Gay Cousin Matt?
At Gay Cousin Matt. Yep, all
across
one
platform.
word.
There you go. And one last thing, actually, I also give my guests before we say goodbye a gift. They're of varying degrees of value and relevance.
Oh,
but
wow.
I have one for you today.
I hope I got lucky.
It's good. It's
your
new.
full frontal nude.
Yeah, it's my full. Can
I actually exchange this?
Yeah. It is a hat. I did get it in a PR
This
package.
is so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Usually,
drink nowadays.
nothing's new. So this used to be an antique store. So a lot of times it's leftover antiques, but you got something new.
Thank you.
And that's
I'm
not
honored.
sponsored either. It's just a hat that I have a lot of hats in.
My hat game is so weak too. I've been trying to work on it. I feel like you're a big hat guy.
I am, but red's not my color.
Perfect. So you're just offloading.
Hey, listen, a lot of these are regifted, and I'm not going to say that I'm here as the best gift giver.
No, and that's okay.
It's just a thank you.
People love a regift, so
yeah, I mean,
thank you.
That one definitely is a regift.
Yeah,
Feel free to regift
nice.
it yourself.
No, I think I'm gonna keep it.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna flex on it this
Nice.
summer. Maybe get a red
love it.
bathing suit. I don't know.
There
See
you
what
go.
happens.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a great week and go out and make some more scaries. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Have you done a podcast before?
No,
They're fun.
I'm losing my
You'll-
podcast virginity.
I have to clean the couch after.
Yeah. Don't get too excited, Matt.